beautiful country of Peru. I was lucky enough to get the chance to travel here before the world fell apart, and it was incredible. Let me show you what I mean. Let's first go all the way back. All the way back to when we first landed. Before we get any further, let me introduce the characters in this story. We have the one and only Gwen, the man with no first name, Fall, our fearless leader, who actually lived in Peru for the past 2 years, Lisa, and of course, there's me. Our story starts off in Lima, the capital of Peru. We spent most of the day walking around the city, taking in all the sights. We even went to this restaurant and tried ceviche for the first time. What are you most excited about?
What am I most excited about?
Yeah.
I think just like sharing this experience with you guys.
Why would you choose one of your friends? He wasn't wrong though. The food in Peru is quite good, especially when we ate with Gary and Gabby. But we'll get to them later. Oh, and we also saw a magic show. When night came, the city started to dance. Dozens of people would come out and dance different styles, from salsa to bachata to hip-hop. Sadly, we could only explore Lima for a day because it was time for us to fly to Cusco. This is us pretending to arrive for the first time because I thought my memory card got corrupted earlier in the day. Luckily it wasn't, but this is just too funny. Our flight was at 4 a.m., by the way. And this is Cusco, sometimes known as the cultural capital of Peru. The altitude here is pretty killer, about 12,000 feet above sea level. It took a little bit of time to adjust, but we were all pretty excited when we arrived. We went shopping, looking for the perfect poncho. We sent postcards back home. I got myself a beanie. And we ate more food in the markets. What's great is that everything here is freshly made. Speaking of food, we also took a quick trip to a small town called Tipon.
We're at a place called Tipon. We're all about to try guinea pig for the first time.
So, this is Gary, and this is Gabby.
That's a guinea pig, y'all.
None of us besides Lisa had previously tried guinea pig before, and I thought it tasted interesting. I'll never eat it again, but definitely interesting. It was good that we filled ourselves up, because the next day was our first hike. Good morning.
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 We're about to hike a mountain at 4:30 in the morning. Yay. Now let me mention that at this point we were about 13,000 feet above sea level. It's pretty hard to breathe. To get to our destination, we would have to hike another 2,000 feet. Luckily you can rent horses to carry you up. Say hi, Gwen.
Hi. Hi, Gwen.
I named my horse Herbert. Go, Herbert, go! The hike was a breeze for some, but for others, a little bit further up, and we finally reached the top. And there, we saw the most beautiful lake we've ever seen. Fast forward a little bit, and it was back on the road for us toward a little village called Ollantaytambo. So we're now at Ollantaytambo, en route to Machu Picchu tomorrow. Yeah. Machu Picchu was finally tomorrow. It's not every day that you get to visit an ancient city on the top of a mountain, so we were all pretty ecstatic. The pizza in Peru is fantastic, by the way. But when morning came, a storm threatened to ruin our day. But we weren't gonna let that happen.
Ledge. Oh, my pants were all wet.
So this is where we slept. Everybody's tired. To get to Machu Picchu, we first had to take a train to Aguas Calientes, the gateway before the ruins. We made it to Machu Picchu. Yeah. It felt surreal to be in the same spot, to walk the same paths as an ancient civilization once did thousands of years ago. And before we knew it, it was time for us to climb Machu Picchu. So that's Machu Picchu, otherwise known as the Mountain of Death, because of these staircases here. And they want to climb it. Socks were wet, it was pouring, and the path up the mountain was going to be slippery. We almost turned back, but we didn't.
That's good.
I'm not gonna lie. Climbing a mountain when your entire body is soaked isn't that great. But overall, I think we all had a good time.
What the fuck? I'm wet. My legs hurt, but yeah. Can you smile?
Oh, look at him, adventure boy.
Needless to say, the view from the top was absolutely incredible. There's something about looking out over the edge of the world that makes you feel fearless, grateful, inspired. It's something you need to see for yourself. And so that's where our trip comes to a close. We hiked down the mountain, took the train back to Ollantaytambo, and rode all the way back to Cusco. Obviously, we had to make more time to look at more ponchos and eat more food. But eventually, it was time for us to fly back to the States. Little did we know that quarantine would be waiting for us around the corner, but who could have known? I could spend all day talking about my experience in Peru. The best part was, and my favorite part, as cliche as it may be, was being able to explore a new country and experience a different culture with amazing friends. The world looked different at the top of the mountain, and it looks a whole lot different now. With patience, this too will pass, and new adventures will await us once more. Just hang in there, and soon, we'll be able to peruse around the globe again in no time. Beep boop.